Great good morning officers. I Sumit Kumar Singh welcome all of you in Magatputra DREAM-IAS free online coaching for UPSC Civil Services preparation. My dear friends, today in this video we are going to discuss the optional subject of Law UPSC Mains Examination. So there were many optional subjects like history, geography, geology, anthropology, sociology, political science, electrical engineering. So in the same way, law is also an optional subject in UPSC Mains Examination. It includes two papers, paper 1 as well as paper 2. So we will first start with paper 1 of law optional paper of UPSC Civil Services Main Examination. So let us start with the constitutional and administrative law. Point number 1, Constitution and Constitutionalism. The distinctive features of the constitutions. Point number 2, Fundamental rights, public interest litigations, legal aid, legal services authority. Point number 3, relationship between fundamental rights, directive principles and fundamental duties. Point number 4, constitutional position of the President and relations with the Council of Ministers. Now move forward. Point number 5, governors and his powers. Point number 6, Supreme Court and the High Courts, appointment and transfers, powers, functions and jurisdictions. Point number 7, center, states and local bodies. In A, distribution of legislative powers between the Union and the states. B, local bodies. C, administrative relationship among Union, state and local bodies. And D, eminent domain, state property, common property and community property. In point number 8, legislative powers, privileges and immunities. In point number 9, services under the Union and the states. A, recruitment and conditions of services, constitutional safeguards, administrative tribunals. In point number B, Union Public Service Commission and State Public Service Commissions, power and functions. In point number C, Elections Commission, power and functions. In 10 point, emergency provisions. In point number 11, amendments of the constitutions. Point number 12, principle of natural justice, emerging trained and judicial approaches. Point number 13, delegated legislations and its constitutionality. Point number 14, separation of powers and constitutional governance. Point number 15, judicial review and of administrative actions. Point number 16, ombudsman and Lokayukta, Lokapal, etc. Now we will see the international law. Antarashtriya Niyam. In point number 1, nature and definition of international law. In point number 2, relationship between international law and municipal law. In point number 3, state recognition and state successions. In point number 4, law of the sea, inland waters, territorial sea, contiguous zones, continental shelf and exclusive, economic zone and high seas. In point number 5, individuals, nationality, statelessness, human rights and procedures available for their enforcement. In 6, territorial jurisdictions of states, extradictions and asylum. Point number 7, treaties, formation, application, termination and reservation. Move forward. In 8 point, United Nations, its principal organs, powers and functions and reforms. Point number 9, peaceful settlement of disputes, different modes. Point number 10, lawful recourse of force, aggressions, self-defense, interventions. Point number 11, fundamental principle of international humanitarian law, international conventions and contemporary developments. And point number 12, legality of the use of nuclear weapons, ban of testing of nuclear weapons, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty NCTST. In point number 13, international terrorism, state-sponsored terrorism, hijacking, international criminal court. And in point number 14, the new international economic order and monetary law, WTO, TRIPS, Gates, IMF and World Bank. In point number 15, or the last point of the paper 1 of law, protection and improvement of the human environment and international efforts. So these are the important points of paper 1 of law, optional subject of UPSC Civil Services Mains Examination. Now we will look the paper 2 of law subject of UPSC Civil Services Main Examination of paper 2. The law of crimes. General principle of criminal liability, mens rea and the acutes reus, mens rea and statutory offences. Kinds of punishment and emerging trends as to abolition of capital punishment. Point number 3, preparedness, preparations and criminal attempt. Point number 4, general expectations. Point number 5, joint and constructive liability. Point number 6, abatement. Point number 7, criminal conspiracy. Point number 8, offences against the state. Point number 9, offences against public tranquility. And point number 10, offences against humanity. Point number 11, offences against property. Point number 12, offences against women. Point number 13, defamation. Point number 14, Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. Point number 15, Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955. And subsequent legislative developments. Point number 16, plea bargaining, the law of torts. Point number 1, nature and definitions. Point number 2, liability based upon fault and strict liability, absolute liability. Point number 3, vicarious liability, including state liability. Point number 4, general defenses. Point number 5, joint torts features. In point number 7, remedies. Point number 8, negligence. Point number 7, negligence. Point number 8, defamation. Point number 9, nonsense. Point number 10, conspiracy. Point number 11, false imprisonment. Point number 12, malicious prosecutions. Point number 13, Consumer Protection Act 1986. Now we will look the law of contracts and mercantile law. Point number 1, nature and formation of the contract and e-contract. Point number 2, factors vitiating free consent. Point number 3, voidable, illegal and unenforceable agreements. Point number 4, performance and discharge of contracts. Point number 5, quasi-contracts. Point number 6, consequences of a breach of contract. Point number 7, contract of indemnity, guarantees and insurance. Point number 8, contract of agency. Point number 9, sale of goods and hire purchase. Point number 10, formation and dissolution of partnership. Point number 11, Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. Point number 12, Arbitrations and Conciliation Act 1996. Point number 13, standard form contracts. Now we will see the contemporary legal developments. The point number 1 is public interest litigations, PIL. Point number 2, intellectual property rights, concept, types, prospects. Point number 3, information technology law, including cyber laws, concept, propose and prospects. In point number 4, competition law, concept, purpose and prospects. Point number 5, alternate dispute resolution, concept, types, prospects. Point number 6, Major statutes concerning environmental law. Point number 7, Right to Information Act. Point number 8, trial by media. And so these are the important topic related to paper 2 of law. So, and earlier we have looked the paper 1 of law, UPSC Civil Services Mains Examination. So if you think it is informative, if you think it boosts your knowledge, and if you are a law student who want to prepare for civil services examination, and if you are in the choice of taking law as an optional subject, then it is one of the best and good marking subject of UPSC Mains Examination in optional paper. So I summarize in front of you words wise words and a point wise point in both paper 1 and paper 2 of the law optional subject of UPSC Civil Services Main Examination. So thank you. Have a great day.